Hello and welcome to this first lecture on ethical considerations in this course, Master in Artificial Intelligence. So, the purpose of this course is to help you learn how to take care of the ethical considerations while you do build the projects on artificial intelligence, machine learning. And question is how to be mindful of these ethical considerations in this lecture. That's what we will talk so that you can use them properly in the AI technologies. And the kind of things that you need to be mindful are like bias in data model, privacy concerns, and potential societal impacts. So, how to be mindful of these ethical considerations is what we will discuss in this lecture. So, how do you think you can be mindful of ethical considerations? See, it is first we need to understand that that's an important thing. It's crucial to develop for a responsible development and deployment of AI systems. And you need to take many steps to do that. So how can you do that? Let's take a look at that. How can you be mindful? First, you need to educate yourself and your team about ethical considerations, right? And its potential implications of the AI technologies. What are the implications of the new technologies that is coming up? And also, you need to stay informed about ethical guidelines, regulations, and best practices in AI development and deployment. So, that is the first step, education and awareness. Then you need to adapt ethical frameworks or guidelines such as IEEE Ethically Aligned Design, ACM Code of Ethics, and AI Code Ethics Guideline by the European Commission. And then use these guidelines and frameworks for your making decisions and ensuring that the ethical considerations are integrated into your development process. So that's how you can use the ethical framework. So these are the ethical frameworks, and you need to use them to guide your decision making and making the development happen. Uh, Now, in terms of bias detection and mitigation, what can you do in terms of being ethical? So be vigilant about the bias in data and models and actively work to detect and mitigate it. Implement techniques such as bias audits, fairness aware machine learning, and bias mitigation strategies to address biases in algorithm and data. And how can you do that? You need to know that the goal of the bias audit is to identify areas of potential bias and inform subsequent bias mitigation efforts. Right now, for that, what you need to do is to audit systematically, analyze the data sets and models to identify and quantify biases, and then you need to take step-by-step approach of data processing, data analysis, model evaluation to assess the bias audits. Then you need to look at fairness-aware machine learning. How can you use that to do bias detection and mitigation? You Fairness-aware machine basically aims to incorporate machine learning considerations in design, training, and evaluation of the machine learning model. So there you have to use certain techniques like fairness constraints that introduces fairness constraints or objectives into model optimization process. Fairness metrics uses fairness metrics like disparate impact, equalize odds, demographic parity, etc. And fair representation learning, where you learn fair representation of data that minimizes the discrimination while presenting utility for the downstream task. And these fair-aware machine learning approaches seek to mitigate biases and promote fairness in model prediction and decision making. The third thing that you need to know is about bias mitigation strategies, as we talked about. Now, bias mitigation strategies aim to, uh, you know, uh, uh, aim to mitigate biases in data and algorithms. And there again, you need to have many steps. First, you need to do data pre-processing, cleaning and pre-processing data sets to remove the biases. You need to have algorithms, modify algorithms or model architectures to reduce biases and promote fairness. You need to have counterfactual fairness, design algorithms that consider counterfactual outcomes to ensure fairness across different groups. and include regularization techniques by incorporating fairness constraints or regularization terms into the model training to penalize discriminatory behavior. Also, post-processing, and you need to apply techniques to adjust the model predictions and mitigate biases in the output. So these bias mitigation strategy may vary depending on the specific context and requirements of the application and often involve a combination of approaches. Then you need to strive for transparency in AI systems by documenting data sources, model architectures, and decision-making processes. Ensure that AI systems are explainable and interpretable, and which allows it to stakeholders to understand how decisions are made and detect potential biases and errors, and that introduces ethical consideration. Then you need to respect user privacy and data detection regulations by implementing privacy preserving techniques such as data anonymization, encryption, and differential privacy. We talked about them earlier. And also obtain informed consent from users before collecting or processing their personal data. And provide clear explanations about how the data will be used. So these are the things that will introduce, the ethical behavior in privacy protection. So you need to consider the broader societal impacts of AI technologies and their potential to exaggerate or alleviate existing inequalities. And for that, you need to engage with diverse stakeholders, including marginalized communities, basically to understand their perspectives and concerns and involve them in design and deployment of the AI systems. Also, prioritize fairness, equity, and inclusivity in AI development by designing systems that benefit all members of the society and minimize harm to vulnerable population. So that's what you can do to be ethical in societal impacts and equity. More things for you to do is to conduct thorough risk assessment to identify potential risks and unintended consequences of AI technology, develop mitigation strategies to address identified risk and minimize the impact on individuals and society, community as a whole. Establish mechanisms to continuously monitor and evaluate AI system post deployment to assess their ethical performance, and for that solicit feedback from stakeholders including user experts and affected community, and be responsive to their concerns and suggestions. Also establish ethics committee or advisory boards within the organization to provide guidance on ethical issues related to AI development and deployment, and ensure accountability and oversight mechanisms are in place to review and address ethical concerns throughout the AI life cycles. So by incorporating these practices into AI development and deployment processes, you can foster a culture of ethical responsibility and ensure that AI technologies are developed and used in the ways that respect human rights, promote fairness and equity, and contribute to the well-being of the society. So what is next? So having looked at how to build take care of biases in data models, privacy concerns, and potential society impact, we will now look at broadly how to develop AI solutions that can also include fairness, transparency, and accountability in addition to the effectiveness and efficiency that we have been focusing on so far. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture of ethical considerations in this course, Master in Artificial Intelligence. I hope you continue to learn new things, continue to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer a question. And also download the PDF file to take a look at anything that we need to specifically on that bias, how to take care of biases in that as an ethical consideration.